This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place. Welcome to this week's episode of This is a Place podcast. My name is Nate.
I'm Brandon.
And happy Day of the Dead, or as the Latinos say, Dia de los Muertos.
The Day of the Dead. I thought that was a holiday invented for the movie Coco.
It was. And I was going to say, if you want to celebrate it, then watch Coco.
I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, my wife's work. So they have like teams, right? Different divisions within her office. So her team dressed up as Coco this year for Halloweeny. But then they can now wear their outfits for today as well, right?
I love the idea of Day of the Dead. I've never really celebrated it. What goes into celebrating Day of the Dead? I want to do it. I want a sugar skull. That's the main thing.
It's where you go and dig up your dead ancestors and you hang out with them for the day. It isn't basically the Day of the Dead a chance for you to celebrate your ancestors, the ones who have passed on. It's a Mexican tradition, right?
And it's kind of, I mean, it's November 1st, so it's grouped in with Halloween. They're all kind of have that same origin.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering and honoring those who have passed on. Yeah, I love the Mexican culture, and I would love to see a full-scale Day of the Dead. I want to go and do that in Mexico City. That would be pretty cool.
Next year, we'll do a
Next year.
remote broadcast.
Yeah. Catch us next year, Mexico City, November 1st and 2nd. We've got a great episode today where we spoke with John Cooper and his mom of Cooper Home Entertainment today. And we'll just jump into it and hear what they had to say about their company.
Yeah. So, like you said, I'm John Cooper. I am the CCO, like Chief Creative Officer, and then like lead screenwriter at Cooper Home Entertainment, which is a company that we founded. And when I say we, I mean me and my family members, because it's a family-run film company, designed for families. It was, right now the executive board is me and my mother Stephanie. She's kind of our CEO, executive producer, and then we've got James, my other brother. He's our director of photography, and often he does he's our CFO and does a lot of stuff in the production realm. And between the three of us, we kind of keep up the day-to-day operations. But I think that every single member of the family kind of participates on some level. Started back in 2019, 2020-ish, but not officially. We started just kind of making little fun web series called Coping with Normal, released that on YouTube. And we had so much fun and learned so much from that, and kind of found a niche that we started in, I think it was 2022. So it's been like a year and a half that we officially launched Cooper Home Entertainment as a business, got the license, and now here we are making movies and making TV shows. Our main focus is teenagers and young adults, making shows for them that you never need to stop, skip, or mute because of content, right? So no swearing, no nudity, no graphic content of any kind. It's stuff that parents could let their teenagers watch, feeling comfortable. Don't need to be guarding that remote. You don't need to be skipping scenes. You're not going to be worried about a parent walking into the room and seeing that one bad scene in the show, right? But also making the content exciting and engaging enough that teenagers will want to watch it, and parents will love that their kids love watching it, essentially.
I think there's a big need for that these days, because even in kid shows, there's some things you might think are a little questionable, and you'd be like, do I really want my kid to watch this?
Yeah, 100%.
Even my wife and I, when we're watching a movie or whatever, we Google like common sense, like, okay, do we really want to watch this? Is it going to be appropriate even just for us, something that we're comfortable watching? So it's great to know that there's companies like you guys doing things that you don't need to Google beforehand to make sure it's something you want to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. That was something that we've noticed, growing up. That was my thing. It seemed like the choices in my media were either just, very just religious, overtly religious stuff, or there was like slapstick comedy, or was something set in the pioneer days, right? Like those were the safe things to watch, and anything else, I needed a parent to be sitting watching that with me. But all the stuff I wanted to watch was these shows like Supernatural and Smallville, and these were great. These like defined my childhood. But I remember vividly on, the mornings before school, I would love watching Smallville. Right, that was my show of choice at the time, and I would always have to have my dad sitting right there next to me watching Smallville. I have that very clear memory because he was there by the remote in case, because there are things every once in a while in that show that are like, you're gonna need to skip this scene, you're gonna need to close your eyes, like look away. So I wanted teenagers to be able to grow up and not just be bored and not have to compromise their values or their standards just to get a good show and a good story, one that was exciting, right? And that was kind of the beginnings of it all in a way. I didn't think I would ever do this, but back then I wanted that, and I hope that we can provide that for teenagers.
How do people have you guys started making movies and TV shows already, or how do people find the shows that you are working on?
Yeah, great question. So we do have some content. I mean, it's not like I mentioned, we started with Coping with Normal back in the day, and that's 3 seasons of a web series all on YouTube. It's over 4 hours of content. The quality is definitely not where we're at now, nor is it what we are promising people, because we've gone leaps and bounds since that time. The best place to kind of keep up to date on what we are doing at the time, or currently, is our Instagram page, Cooper Home Entertainment. But also we have a website, cooperhomeentertainment.com. And on there we have a newsletter. If you just go to cooperhomeentertainment.com, scroll down to the bottom, there's a little MailChimp box that you can just insert your email address. And those people who are subscribed to our newsletter not only get the most recent, most up-to-date information on what we're producing, when we're going to be releasing it, that type of stuff, but they oftentimes, they'll get exclusive access to auditions. Actors who are subscribed to the newsletter will be alerted to an audition 1 week in advance of the general public, so that they have some additional time to prepare or submit an audition. We also will do fun codes and stuff like that every once in a while. Like we just finished filming a feature, which we'll talk about in a bit, and we, have a fun code that we were able to give to all of our subscribers for a discount on the haunted house that we filmed at, stuff like that. And ultimately, that's going to be where people are going to get that information, where they can watch it. But to answer your other question, do we have stuff released now? That's the exciting part. We don't necessarily have anything out released yet, but that's going to start coming down the pipe in Q1 of 2024. This year, we were able to film our first feature film, Night of Wrath, which is really exciting, and we'll be releasing next year sometime. We were able to film 2 different pilots, one called Fairytale Club, and another one that you're probably hearing the most about right now, which is Bound in Blood. That one specifically, we're looking to release in Q1 of 2024. Amongst other projects, we have a short film that we just finished, that's just finishing up post-production, and we'll be going through the festival circuit here shortly. So we've got like scattered things here and there that you'll be seeing a lot more of in this next year.
When you say released, are you shopping them are you guys going to sell them to one of the big companies out there? Or are you guys going to just stream it online, or what do you mean by released?
It's a great question. I'm glad you asked it, Nate. with the release plans. So some of our projects, yes, we are looking for distribution with, like, specifically Night of Wrath. We're going to look at kind of shopping that one around, seeing if somebody, is interested in picking that one up. Possibly Fairytale Club as well. We're always looking for a home for that one, a site or streaming network that would be interested in picking that one up. But for the majority of our content, what we're looking at creating here in the near future is a platform that will allow, our own platform, I should say, that will allow parents to be able to hand their kids, the website, cooperhomeentertainment.com, and their teenagers will be able to sit down and watch the Cooper Home Entertainment content without having to worry about them navigating somewhere else. You can lock down a website, because you don't want to give kids unrestricted access to the internet. At least the audience we're targeting, they're very cautious about what they let their kids and their teenagers listen to. So what we wanted to provide, YouTube's been great to us. We love YouTube, but YouTube in and of itself is not inherently safe. We can't control the ads that are placed on that site. They can type in anything or go anywhere on YouTube. So we've been working on a solution to get us away from that platform and into our own space that we'll be able to control and keep safe, so that we can be true to that mission of never needing to stop, skip, or mute even commercials. And so they're not going to come across something that goes against our values on our site, if that makes sense.
I think Nate and I are interested in, I saw things about when you were filming at, can I say it was Nightmare on 13th, where you filmed what is it? Night of Wrath? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Night of Wrath, which was filmed at almost exclusively at the Nightmare on 13th.
Yeah, so we're big fans of scary and haunted stuff, so I definitely would be excited to check that out. I just was at Nightmare the other day, so be really excited to see that one when it comes out. So we'll keep our eyes open. But
yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, their facilities, holy cow! The Nightmare on 13th is just like, it's stunning. It's one of the reasons we wanted to film there so badly for this show, right? It's a group of virtuous teenagers who are being blackmailed with dark secrets of their past. They're trapped in this haunted house, and one of them may or may not be, the person blackmailing them all and trapping them in this house. And just as they're going through, so the plot itself actually facilitates, they're trying to find a way out of it. So it's really fun to see them go from room to room to room. And what's so great about the Nightmare on 13th is every single room has so much detail and so much just like life to it that no matter what scene was happening, it just like pops. Like the movie itself is just so fun to watch because of the Nightmare on 13th. And they were so great to work with, especially Phil was great. Yeah.
You can edit, right? I'm dying for you guys. I'm like, they could edit out my voice. I'm like, yes, but
I'm not that proficient in my editing skills, but we should say, you are joined by your mom here, John.
Yes.
She's a big part of the project too. She should pop in a little bit, I think.
You should. Okay. Like I said, she's our executive producer. She does, a lot of our social media stuff as well. I mean, she kind of keeps the whole ship running as I make these insane things. And she's like, well, let's make them come to life in this way. I'm like, okay, like I'll help where I can.
Yeah, just a plug for Nightmare on 13th. Such a great group of people and so supportive of what we did. And we collaborated with a family working with lemons, who is a local business here as well. They have a huge following on YouTube. They're about 4 million, just over 4 million on YouTube. So they do a lot of more music videos, but want to come into the film realm, which we had the experience in. So between Cooper Home Entertainment and working with Lemons, we were able to collaborate and bring all these people together in different audiences. We could help them with their filmmaking, and they could help us with the audience and to get some of the stuff. And so incredible talent as well on that project. It's so and we already have some distributors looking at it, so it's going to be fun. But look forward to, like, we really want to do a premiere at Nightmare, and they want us to do like the opening, like an exclusive, just how many seats, and then they would walk everybody through their facility, which would be like incredible. And
that'd be so cool.
And then probably a theatrical release, and then throwing it to some type of streaming service. So it's so fun because it's a scary one and it's intense. It's a thriller, but at the same time, going along with what Cooper Home Entertainment does is there's not going to be any language dropped. There's some romance, but there's no explicit sexuality that you're going to have to like steer away from. And there's nothing graphic, but it's still creepy, and the story's so engaging. So I think that's what makes it fun, is that Jonathan always says that with intelligence, you don't have to have a lot of that stuff. And there's some genres that, some of that has to exist just if you're in a war, or something like that. But generally speaking, if you can write with intelligence and you have good acting, you don't really need all of that kind of stuff to invoke the same emotions or even better emotions,
Right.
because it gets your brain working. You know, your brain is engaged instead of just the shock factor of like, oh, the word. You know, your brain has to engage in the story, so it becomes much more compelling, especially in the way that he writes. So so that's really fun. And also one more plug and then I'll be done talking, is that it's so good for teenagers, but young adults are going to love it. I mean, I love the stories, but that's because I'm like truly probably just a teenager at heart. So although it's geared to probably 8 and above, just because the stuff is scary. I mean, our Bound in Blood has monsters. It has a siren, you know, it has a hydra, you know, they're a little creepy. They're going to give you a little bit of scare. So I wouldn't put my 5-year-old in front of it. But it goes all the way through adults. Just the gear is like that preteen age up through that, so that families could sit together and be like, I would be engaged watching with my teenager. I wouldn't be bored because there's enough for the adult audience as well. You know, we just know that there's that little market in there that just doesn't have things to watch that they want to. And, you know, parents need to know that that's what their kids want too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can try to insulate your kids, but they're going to go find it. They're going to find the shows that they want. So I want to give those shows that those kids would go somewhere else to find that would have that content. Let them find a show that doesn't, that can be safe. So that's all.
Amen.
Yeah, I think the movie theaters in general are lacking family films. I mean, my wife and I are big movie buffs. I guess we have the Regal Pass where you go on limited movies. And it's rare that we can go as a family because there's not enough films released to take kids to. So I think there's a big need for it. So it's good that you're doing it.
I mean, look at Marvel. That's where I always pull from when I'm talking to people about the, you know, what we're trying to do here. It's like, oh, is there really a market for this? I mean, absolutely. Like, people may not understand why Marvel hit so big, like insanely big. But I think part of the reason is because when it started out, they're cool, they're engaging for adults, but they're also that fun, action-driven superhero thing that everyone thinks is so kid-friendly, even when a lot of the stuff they've been coming out with nowadays is very much not so at Marvel. But in the beginning, like, that's why it hit so big, because families were going to these movies. That is the biggest market in America, period.
Yep, 100%. That's why I think anytime now, like, Disney releases for the most part, a Pixar movie, they do so well is because, hey, finally we can go to the movies as a family.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and even the Marvel films, for the most part, I mean, if your kids aren't into superheroes, there's still some questionable scenes like you're talking about earlier. So that's good. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to offer. Do you guys at least Utah swear? Do you do Utah curses in your film?
We try to I try as much as I can to avoid it.
I'm from California. I've lived here forever, but I am a California girl. A Utah swear would be like heck. Is that
heck, darn, fudge, frick.
I mean,
crap.
Darn. I don't think we're ever gonna say fudge.
Yeah, my friend even says curses. He says curses, and then sugar is another one I hear a lot too. Sugar. So
that's fair. I mean, crap. And I would say that some of it is, you know, some families, I don't think we're for the really high intense families who don't want anything or any emotion or
any sort of fighting
or conflict. We definitely have all of that, and there are some real emotions that come out through that.
Like, there is anger. We do not, like, I try to avoid the Utah swears, as it were. If they're in there, it's usually stuff that I try to keep, like, oh, this is a very common thing that I hear, not even just in Utah, but I would hear on a big screen. But ultimately, what even the premise behind just the no swearing, since it's a movie, you know, we try to lean very heavily into the visuals. You try to see the anger instead of hear the anger, right? Dialogue should always be supplementary in a film. So what I always try to do is like, I usually use those Utah, if I'm using those Utah curse words, then I'll look at those and be like, okay, so this is what this is showing me in a script. And if I have time to rewrite, I would be able to do this better. But looking at that, I say, okay, so there's this word here. That means there's probably an action I could have this character take, which will speak louder than this word could. And so I try to remove that and just have the characters do something to show that emotion instead of just using any words, really.
A caveat to that is just that we've been very blessed to work with amazing talent, mostly from Utah. I mean, we have some Idaho too that can travel to us. Like we're not, we won't ever not bring someone on set who's from a different state, but we are locally based because that's what we can do right now and what we can afford. But also, I would love to keep bringing on Utah people. But having said that, they are so talented that there's times in the script where he builds in this emotion, and if they organically would say something or feel the need to express something, our sets are really fun in that, like, he gives us such a base, but they are allowed to really explore their characters. And so they will stop and be like, hey, I have to like say something, or I have to do something because of the, like, just the authenticity,
authenticity,
that word, needs to be said. And so that is something that we will discuss. It would obviously never be, one of the swear words we're not willing to see, but something that like feels like they need to do it for their character. So that's been fun to see them take like the action and then be able to add, whatever they need to, the grunts or the yell, or, add that part of their character into what they're doing. So
true.
It's an all-encompassing effort. It's kind of a family production from the sounds of it, a lot of family involved, but how do you guys spread the load in what you do?
Yeah, that has been a juggling act. I'll tell you what. Like, we have gone through so many different distributions of responsibilities. I think we're finally starting to hit our stride as far as like division of labor. Because in the beginning of time, I was coping with normal, right? I was on the camera, I was editing, I was doing the sound, I was writing the thing. Stephanie, my mom at this point, was really also involved, and she was helping, get the sets in place and make sure that we had schedules. And well, actually, that was my wife. My wife did the schedules. That's the other thing, is, like I said, every member of the family is kind of involved in some regard, and that's something that my wife came in really clutch with, because we're fairly organized, but like, she is a mastermind when it comes to scheduling. And when you're scheduling like 10 to 20 different people that all need to be on set at the same time and trying to get conflicts and finding which days we can do for how long, she was super helpful in that regard. But as we've kind of progressed, we've been able to kind of expand and consolidate what we do a little bit better. My brother James was able to come on, after Coping with Normal season 2, and started to take a bigger role in the company. So he actually does all the filming and the editing at this point. Okay. I still do a lot of the sound work with him. We kind of divide that. I'm doing all of the writing and helping with kind of, I do a lot of directing on set, and, we both kind of work on marketing and posts and outreaches and stuff like that. And she's handling the executive stuff while also taking care of all the actors and like their feelings, because that's something that's really important to us, is like when we work with people and crew and cast, we want them to feel like they're a part of the family. So we always say they get a new mom or an additional mom when they come on to set. Mama Cooper is there to make sure you're feeling okay, that you're staying healthy, that you're staying safe. And so it's just been a lot of trial and error. We found that, I got too overworked, so then I gave something to my brother and he would take it off my shoulders, and same with Stephanie. And then if she had something, I would take it. And we kind of just have to be flexible with that. Otherwise, there's so much to be done. You just collapse from the weight of it all.
It's a lot. Our hope is, and we have brought more people on to carry that. So like you said, in the last year, we've been able to like be more official, have our business license, do all that kind of stuff. So as we grow, we are bringing people in who help with lighting, who help with some of the sound work. As we grow and can financially support that more, we will bring more people on. So we, even though we are family owned, and will stay family owned for the most part, via like some investors who might take a share or two, which is totally fine and welcomed to help support the cause, you know. Those people will come on to help because we can't run it all by ourselves. We did that, and we need other people. So we have a lot of really good people here who have helped carry some of that. Having said that, he is the main screenwriter. John is. I'm pointing and you can't see because this is a podcast. So he writes not only for us, but he both the boys who are involved 100% also do some freelance work. So he is a masterful writer. He can write so fast, and he has been really instrumental to help a lot of people be able to refine their scripts. So that is kind of his side gig or his freelance work. They can bring scripts to him, and then he is very good at, you know, because that's what his education's in, that's what his degree is in. So he's very good at like editing them, and he's been able to be able to help a lot of people finish their shorts and even their feature films and some of their things, because he's able to help their script be able to be producible, which is really just, it's cool. Like, it's cool that you can do that. And he wants to do that. He loves to help other people. And then James, on the other hand, is he freelances by going onto sets. He's just finished a few projects being their DP, or he'll go on as a first AC, but he prefers the DP role. So they will hire him to go on. So that's the way they're able to also bring in some revenue as we're building a company, because as you guys know, building a company is expensive. And so you have to have different revenues coming in to be able to support, so you can still eat and feed your family. So they've both been able to do that. So that's fun. Yeah. So that's what they do on the side.
So a lot of work.
That's great.
You need a writer. There he is.
Yeah.
Good. He's very good.
Well, if you need a writer, my little brother and his best friend, they write movies as well. They got one right now that they're working with Netflix to get done. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're above our pay grade if that's who they're working with.
What's that?
I said he might be above our pay grade if he's already working.
No, I don't think so. Not at all. I mean, yeah, they've been doing it since they were, you know, teenagers, and yeah, they are always working on a script here and there in between their family and real jobs. So
Amazing.
Send them our way. We'd love to work with them.
Yeah, they even had, I think Hallmark at one time was going to pick up or one of their shows, and then it just turns out like Lifetime made the same movie at the same time. It was something like The Dog Who Saved Christmas or something like that. So they got scratched. Anyways, it's kind of funny. It's an interesting, the entertainment business is definitely a interesting business to be in, and a tough one at the same time, right?
Yeah, no, and you have scripts. I mean, he wrote a whole bunch of scripts, and they sit on the table at Hallmark, and they sit on the table other places until they decide they want them. So they just kind of hold them until they want them. So it's an interesting process, which is why we just pick up a camera and film ourselves. Not saying that if someone wants to buy another one of his scripts, that's great.
Sure.
But we're just going to keep going on our own route too. So we're not waiting on other people.
So that's my curiosity. You said that you had the YouTube channel, but like, how did you guys get into the entertainment business? What's your background prior to doing the YouTube channel and stuff like that? It sounds like your whole family's involved one way or another. Like, did you guys grow up acting?
Really? There we go.
What's the Reader's Digest version of your life before the YouTube channel?
I'll go fast and I'll tell you why we're doing it. We're doing it because of John Cooper. So
Sorry.
What happened was that he went to college and had planned to go to law school and was on that track. He's a smart kid. And so that was his plan. And then he'd always loved writing. He's always loved media. Like, that's definitely his passion, his hobby, all of that kind of stuff. Right. But, you know, going to do the traditional, I'm going to like graduate from BYU and I'm going to go to law school. And that's what I'm going to do because he can write and he's proficient. That makes sense to go to law school, until one day he decides, oh, nope, that's not what I'm supposed to do, guys. I am supposed to be a writer. Comes home. And
not just that, I was miserable. I did not want to go to law.
He would have been would have been an excellent lawyer, and he would have been miserable just because of who he is. So,
and he doesn't like to swear, so you can't do that.
I can't do that. Yeah.
Right? He's almost too kind. But yay that we have lawyers. We need them. So that's no diss on them. So to his fiance at that time, Emma wasn't your wife yet.
I think
engaged.
So.
Hey, you were going to marry a lawyer. Now you're marrying a writer. So So that's fun. So
If that speaks anything to her,
bless
character.
her, she's amazing.
You
So
pulled her in with the attorney thing, and then you switched the script.
Classic bait,
Kind of like an attorney
bait
would
switch.
do.
That's what an attorney would.
I
Yeah,
would have been a great attorney.
he would have
there you go.
would have been a great attorney. So, anyways, he decides he wants to be a writer. So then he starts writing. He also did a UCLA online professional program to work on his screenwriting. So long story short, he's like, oh, well, I have this script. I think we're ultimately going to move to LA because that's where I need to move to be a writer. But he had this script. And so we're like, well, let's just like play with it. So that's how we started Coping with Normal. And then COVID hit, and he stayed. And then during that time frame, they decided that they didn't want to move to LA, but they wanted to bring the film industry here. That why was he going to try to chase something else in an environment he didn't really want to be in? And there was so much talent here. So he pulled the family basically and said, guys, I'm going to stay here. This is what I think I need to do. It's going to be a really long road. It's going to be tough, but I really feel like it's what we're supposed to do. He has the personality. Again, he would have been a great lawyer that we're like, okay, let's all go jump off the cliff. And we all jumped on board, and we kept going with Coping with Normal, even though we had a great writer, no technical skills. And then we kind of have just learned and progressed along the way. So if you look at our YouTube channel, even though we're like, well, that's not where we're at, it does show the journey of like, oh, you need sound. Oh, we didn't know.
Sound is important.
Sound is important. What? So like, it's a little painful. Story's so fun though. I think everybody should go watch the story. It's great. And then you can kind of see our progression to like, okay, we should do these proof of concepts. Okay, we need to do this. And so that is how we're here. And just at different points in our lives with different people have had to like come in and out. For instance, our youngest is a great actor and a great fight choreographer, but he also teaches seminary because, you know, he just got married and needs that too. So we kind of weave in and out, you know, the other brother's done some of the camera work but now then he went and, you know, finished college and do all that stuff. So our family kind of weaves in and out, except for John and myself and James. We kind of stay right here and everybody else comes in and out as they can. But anyways, and now we're on a mission, but that's the story. COVID made us stay.
Yeah.
And we're so glad. Uh-huh. We're so glad. It needs to be here in Utah. Utah's beautiful. There needs to be a film industry. So much
talent here.
There needs to be, and it's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
There needs to be a film industry here for sure.
Yeah, well, there's already quite a bit of films and TV shows and stuff that are done here, right? So there's already kind of a small footprint of production stuff going on, right?
100%. A lot of it is, and there's a huge film community here that is awesome, that everybody's kind of rising up together. Awesome. I will say that a lot of times when productions come in, they don't, they bring in people, which is awesome. It's great for like our economy and stuff. And some Utah people get used, but you know, not as many as we would like to have the opportunity to be used, but they've had great opportunities. Mm-hmm. Yellowstone and Yellowstone. Oh, yeah. There's two others. Can't remember, but there's a couple, and a lot of our people have been able to work on those, which is awesome. So
yeah, we know that firsthand. You know, when they did that Lindsay Lohan one, both Nate and I tried to be in that movie, and they just shut us down right away. So
that could have been your moment, guys.
I know.
They robbed you.
But it's cool that, you know, we on the podcast, we do a lot of movie, not reviews, but we like to cover the movies that have been filmed here, such as Dumb and Dumber, Sandlot, you know, yeah. the big time movies that they've made, and we like to explore and see, oh, this is where that film was, you know, that scene was shot right here or whatever. So it's cool that you guys are doing even more of that. Like all your filming's taking place in here. You're having people from Utah that are involved. So big thumbs up from us, and you just provide us more content for the podcast too.
There you go. Yeah, no, we'll have to have you guys come out to the spring scare release of Night of Wrath. Then you guys probably be really fun for your podcast.
That'd be great.
We would love to be there for that. That's awesome.
Okay, cordially inviting you.
Sweet. It's on record. We're recording this.
Yeah, we can't take it back now.
Can't take it back. I'll call my attorney if you do.
Perfect.
So before we started the podcast, Brandon and Jonathan were going back and forth because you guys know each other, right? Can you explain to me how you know each other?
Yeah, I knew it. When I opened the email, I was like, Brandon, wait a second.
You've been bamboozled.
I think he shanghaied me. He didn't tell me he was coming to this. It was how many years ago was it? Holy cow!
We were little boys.
We were teen. I mean, Stephanie might be better able to tell that. But
So back in the day of West Jordan, we were neighbors, and I was friends with his mom Cheryl, and they just had a lot in common. Cute kids. We did like a not a preschool, but like before preschool, like the 3-year-old thing, like as moms, a group of moms. I don't know if you guys remember that. And so
funny story. I'm gonna interject. My daughter goes to that same preschool now that we went to.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
So anyways, we were neighbors and friends, and they just had a lot in common. Brandon was such like a sweet kid, and they just had fun creating and playing, and then we all moved.
Yeah, it broke my heart. I always tell people that you're my first best friend. So I don't know if I hold the same place in your
for sure
repertoire, but
I was just about to say that. I was like, I have like, okay, so here's you want the honest truth. I have a terrible memory. Like I do remember, I was like, me and Brandon were tight. Like I have that memory.
The fact that he even remembers your name. He was like, I mean, I didn't know, right? I was communicating with you guys online, and then he opened the email. He's like, Brandon, is that the Brandon? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think I would know if that was Brandon. And then it was you. So
and it was me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sure.
So fun. Such a small world. I love it so much.
Yeah, and I think that's how I found out about you guys originally. I saw, I think we're Facebook friends, something. I saw something about Cooper Home Entertainment, and I kept tabs on it, and took us a minute to get here to finally record, but we're glad to be doing it and get the word out about the awesome thing you guys got going on.
Yeah, you couldn't have come at a better time. You probably saw something about the crowdfunding that we're doing right now. That was probably
So tell us more about that, and how, if people they want to support this, how they can get involved.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. So like we said, we made 2 pilots this year. One of them, Fairy Tale Club's designed to be shopped around to find a home. But this one, we'll see how the cards play out. But the original purpose behind its creation was to create just our own series here in Utah for us, right? So we created the pilot, and we are now working on gathering the funding to create the rest of the series. The show is called Bound in Blood. You can check out the campaign. We're doing it. It's whether this terminology by Kickstarter or by crowdfunding. It's essentially the same thing, but the platform on which we are crowdfunding is called Seed and Spark. You can check out the campaign page on boundinbloodtheseries.com, or you can just go to seedandspark.com and look up Bound in Blood in their search tab, right? And this one's going to be really fun. It's if you like shows like Vampire Diaries, Supernatural, or even Percy Jackson, which we're all looking forward to that series at the end of the year. If you like shows like that, but you're worried about the content that are often in those shows, this is going to be your cup of tea. This is, it's all of the best parts of those shows without any of the content you need to stop, skip, or mute, right? 16-year-old Jessica Argos gets exposed as the destroyer of the Greek gods. So she and her father are forced to flee back to their hometown, and they have to get their dysfunctional family of supernatural hunters to work together and truly become a family in order to stop the Greek gods and their monsters from tearing them apart. It's pretty awesome. Fun. Yeah. So we are just looking for the support of the community. If there are people out there listening to this who want this type of media, this is the time to vocalize that support by going to boundinbloodtheseries.com and backing the project, supporting it. This is what will enable us to not only finish this series, but this is the tip of the spear. After this one, we have plenty of other shows, movies that are going to be coming down the pipeline. But we need to get this one off the ground first. So if this is something you support, come show us.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. I'll walk the walk.
Yeah. I mean, we've been able to do a lot on our own, but we're just to a point, and the people that we work with that, this little bit helps. I mean, you can look, even though it feels like a big number, it's like at $24,001 or something like that. If you know what shows cost, that's a fraction of the cost, to be able to, it's not that much. but it is rallying support. It's seeing who's there. It's seeing who, has stakes in what we're doing so we can build that. So, from $5 to, $2,500 donation, anywhere in between is great. It just gets you so that we can all make this happen together,
Yeah, and we're open to sponsorships and investments as well, but
Sure.
those we usually handle on a personal, reach out to us at cooperhomeentertainment@gmail.com. And we can talk about that because we like to make sure that it's fair and good for both parties when it comes to those types of things.
For sure.
I'm sure Brandon and I could get $10 together between us to invest. So,
Hey,
let's talk offline, see how much we can buy of your production company.
Love it.
I'll take the $10.
Every bit, man. Every bit.
It'll buy a light bulb or something.
Yeah. Do you take IOUs?
IOUs.
You would be surprised.
Well, it's exciting to hear what you guys have, and I need to go back and check out the Coping with Normal. That sounds like a lot of fun. Like you said, it's very early on and you guys are still learning, but definitely still the value in seeing where you were and then where you're heading and what you will become. But if you ever need to middle-aged people like us, throw us in as an extra. Nate and I got tons of movie ideas. I'm sure you've got no shortage of them, but
yeah, let's do it. Let's get you guys on that screen. Let's give you guys that moment that you were robbed of.
Yeah, give us the career we deserved. Not that.
Hey, I'll put you on the screen. I work with the actors, so
you
can make this work.
Yeah, I can. I've been doing.
Who's the makeup person in charge? You're gonna need to be really good.
I am not the makeup person. I raised 4 boys, so that's definitely not my shtick. But
that's one thing we always outsource.
As always. But as far as all the acting, like that's what I've been doing for 20 years. So when this has just been a couple years, but that's my whole career, mostly in musical theater and on stage. But I've just shifted it to film, and it shifts pretty well. So
she can work with it.
It's a lot of work. I mean, Brandon and I both have little experience being extras in some productions. And it's crazy to see how much work is involved for just one simple little scene in a movie or a show. You have no idea. Sometimes it almost ruins it for you when you go watch a movie to think, oh, okay, well, the camera was here, the camera was there, the person was here, the person was there. But it's a lot of work. So
yeah, Nate was in Touched by an Angel quite a couple episodes back in the day. I was in High School Musical 3, so we've dabbled.
Yeah, we're professionals.
We're professional extras.
We got it down.
Professional dabblers.
We're turning down scripts all the time, but we would not turn down your script.
Wow, guys, I feel so honored. I'll send you some.
We're just waiting for the perfect opportunity, and I think you might have it. So
our breakout roles.
You guys are all kidding, but can you see my brain? My brain's a guest star appearance would be so cool. Give you guys some speaking lines, have and then we have your podcast and what you guys are doing. That would be really, really fun. So I'm actually being serious. So you better send me an email after this. Like, we were kidding, but I don't think you are. Brandon had that creative all the way when he was a kid, just like him. So I have no doubt that. But this is creative. Doing a podcast is really cool, and talking about movies and everything. So I think what you guys are doing is really creative and really cool. You guys just have to say, do you want to be a werewolf? Do you want to be a vampire? Do you want to be...
We'll have to talk to our agents first to see what the best move is.
You better give me what monster, but maybe you'll just be a normal person too.
We'll just say D, all the above.
D on the above.
Throw us where you need us.
Great. Do
that.
Done.
Like, wait, wasn't that guy this person in that scene? Now he's this person. You see those TV shows where they use the same extras over and over again for different parts. So
yeah, it's a lot of work. It's not for the faint of heart. Let's say that. It's not as glamorous.
But I always,
and all this doesn't matter, but I always tell a lot of our, we have a siren in this one, and I'm like, everybody thinks it looks so glamorous. I'm like, this is not glamorous, is it? I mean, she's in the water, it's freezing cold, bless her heart, it's dirty, it's gross, and she's just doing her thing, and I'm like, super glamorous, huh? She's like, oh yeah, super glamorous. You have to love it. it's a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for the actors and actresses that we work with. They work their trash off. So
Yeah,
Well, that's
100%. There you go.
your
You just
guys'
had a
job.
Utah swear. Good job.
is that a Utah swear
Oh, yeah.
trash?
You just did a Utah swear. Trash off. I like that. I don't think.
Even my California roots coming
There
in.
you go.
Well,
Love
thank
it.
you guys so much for speaking with us. It's been a real joy to catch up, see you guys again, and we look forward to our continued partnership.
Yeah, we'll see you on the set.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys,
we
I'm
will.
send us the
not
call
kidding.
sheet.
I'm not kidding. So bring it
We'll
on.
do it.
enough.
Okay, we'll do it. Fine.
Fine,
If you're gonna
fine.
force our hands, we'll do it.
Bring it. I got it.
Or he just might be mad committing this early without
Just
having the
don't.
payment structure in place first. But
Figure it out.
We'll keep it under the table. It'll be just
there you
fine.
go. There you go.
I'm excited that we finally are getting our big break, Nate.
I know. I feel like I need to go prepare. Start practicing.
What are you gonna practice?
Run my lines. Do you want to get together and
Run
read
your
through-
lines?
Run through our. Is that what they say? Run through your lines.
Man,
I
we
think so.
we need to brush up on our, because if we're gonna be involved in this, we need to be.
You gotta have
On top of it.
the lingo down.
Yeah, we got to get the lingo down for sure. Yeah, it was great to talk with them, and I've followed their stuff for a few years now, seeing some of their videos and things they've put out, but really excited to hear what they've got coming up. A lot of cool stuff. Really excited for that Nightmare Night of Wrath movie. Check out Cooper Home Entertainment. As I mentioned, we'll include links so you can find their stuff and follow along. Definitely give them a follow on social media. And I mean, you're going to see us in the movie soon, so there's another incentive.
Yeah. So yeah, our careers could really take off. I just need them to let me know if they need the long hair or if I need to cut my hair. I just need to know so I can get my stylist.
Luckily, if they need me to play the role of a bald person, that will be a pretty easy fix.
You can.
I don't even need a bald cap. I can just, it's going to be real easy. That's
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. My 2 cents is, I think I kind of mentioned it. It would be nice to have some movies in the movie theater that are family friendly.
You can only see Mario so many times, right?
Well, yeah, and I kind of believe the reason Mario did so well is because they lack good kid entertainment in the movie theaters. And I mean, right now, I think in the theaters, there's the last kind of big movie to come out for kids was Paw Patrol, and I don't think that I don't think there's a lot of adults screaming to go see that one. Where Mario kind of appeals to all ages, right?
Yeah, because we grew up with that. We didn't grow up with Paw
we grew up
Patrol.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they have to offer, and it would be nice to go to a family show that's not a cartoon. So
that too.
Didn't really bring that up with them, but yeah, so I'm excited to see what they can put out, and I hope, I guess not hope, but I wish the best of luck with them, and I hope it works out, and that maybe 10 years from now we're gonna be like, hey, remember when you interviewed this company where they're at their roots, the beginning, and now they're this big production company. So
they're our best friends, and we're in all their movies.
Yeah, and we got ins. We got ins like this big.
We got in on the ground floor.
Ground floor. Yeah, exactly. They'll be showing our. I guess you'd have the video you could send into Entertainment Tonight and all that stuff, saying, "Hey, look at when these guys were tiny." Yeah, wish them the best of luck and excited to work with them and see what they have to produce. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and again, episode. And this is our first episode. I mean, a little bit of a bonus with some spooky talk in it, but we're officially out of the Halloween season and entering the agreed Halloween forever, baby.
But have you seen there's a Thanksgiving movie coming out that's a horror movie. So
was it filmed in Utah?
Well, I'll probably watch it in Utah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, we're gonna have to discuss it one way or another. It does not fall into the appropriate entertainment that Cooper Home Entertainment is doing, but I know you'll see it and you let us know how good or terrible it is. I mean, there was a school in Florida that just showed their 3rd or 4th graders the the Winnie the Pooh movie. So
Oh, I was going to bring that up to you. How funny is that? Kids
yeah.
were screaming to turn it off.
Hey kids, you want to watch Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, I started watching that movie, and it's different and definitely not kid friendly.
Definitely not
So,
kid friendly.
oh, good heavens.
Not even adult
Oh,
friendly.
no, it's not. So, on that note,
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
and this was a place we just talked about.
It's gonna be some places.
And this was a production we just talked about. This was a company we just talked about. It was a hibbity hobbity company that we just talked about.
Thanks for listening.
See you next week.